Hello YouTube, this is Brandon from the Team Olympus. I'm going to show you today my version 1 of my Spike Brothers deck. My starting Vanguard, as you can see, is Mecha Trainer. He is a grade 0. When another Spike Brothers rides him, you can call him to the rear guard circle, and you counterblast 1 and retire him to search your deck for 1 grade 1 or less Spike Brothers rear guard, or Spike Brothers, my bad, and you add it to your hand. So he's pretty much a Conroe for Spike Brothers. Okay, so next for triggers we have 4 Cheer Girl Tiara. She's 5k, 10k shield. She's a heal trigger. Next we have 4 Cheerful Lynx. He's a draw trigger. He's 5k attack and a 5k shield. Next we have 4 Sonic Breaker. He is a 5k with a 10k shield, and he is a crit trigger, or critical, whichever you prefer. And lastly, we have 4 Silence Joker, which is also a crit trigger. He's 4k with a 10k shield, and his ability is you put him into the soul, and you can unflip 1 damage. So instead of like Grand Blues and Narukami with the grade 2 that when it hits it unflips, they have a card while it's on rear guard you put into the soul and it unflips the damage, kind of like Banshee for Grand Blue. You soul charge her to draw a card. But we're not doing Grand Blue, we're doing Spike Brothers. So I'll move on to grade 1s. Right now I'm running 2 Cheer Girl Maryland. I only have 2, and it's working pretty good. When I don't use it to perfect shield, I normally soul charge it for the Deadly Emperors, or the worst case scenario, I call it to a rear guard to boost. But she's just a 0 shield with 6k attack, and she's a grade 1. So 2 of her. Then I have 3 Reckless Express. He is a 7k attack base with a 5k shield, and you soul charge 1 to give him plus 5k, and at the end of the battle step he returns to the deck. So he's the grade 1 version of High Speed Bracky. So 3 of him, and then 4 of the standard 8k beater Wonder Boy. He's easy to search out with Mecha Trainer, and he helps Dudley Imp swing for 21k, so it's good. He's 5k shield. And lastly, for grade 1s, I'm using 4 Medical Manager. He helps soul charge for the Juggernauts, Brackies, Reckless Express, and stuff like that. If you don't know his ability, when he's placed on a Vanguard or rear guard circle, you soul charge 1. He is also a 7k base with a 5k shield. So 4 of him. For grade 2s, my grade 2 lineup is a little different than most Spike Brothers. I use 2 Panzergale. He is the Superior Interceptor. He helps when I have like 0 cards in my hand and my opponent can push for game next turn. Instead of calling 2 Juggernauts or 2 Brackies, I'll call maybe a Juggernaut and a Panzergale, or 2 Panzergales, so I can guard for 2 to 1 of their attacks, so I don't die that turn. He's 8k base and a 5k shield, unless you Superior Intercept, of course. So 2 of him. And then instead of the Field Drillers, I'm using Devil Summoners. In my opinion, he works better than Field Driller because he is 7k and 5k shield as well, but his ability is you check the top card, And if it's a grade 1 or 2 Spike Brothers, you can call it to a rear guard circle, 1 or 2. And yeah, I mean, I like it better than Field Driller because Field Driller has to hit, and its highest that it can swing for with a base is with Wonder Boy, and it can only swing for 15k. It does make your opponent drop cards out of their hand to guard it so you don't draw, but Devil Summoner gives you field advantage, so you can still kind of make them drop cards out of their hand because they don't want to take damage. So I kind of like Devil Summoner better because also if you top a Devil Summoner, you get to use that one's ability as well. So it's pretty awesome. I like it over Field Driller, but that's just my own opinion. Next, I'm using 3 Treasured Black Panther. He's just a 10k beater, 5k shield. Most people would rather run 4 Treasure Black Panthers over 2 Panzer Gales, and they would take out a grade 2 for a grade 3, but I decided to drop a grade 1. And then lastly, I use a 4 high-speed Brachys. He is the grade 2 equivalent of Reckless Express. You soul charge one and he gets plus 5k. He is a 9k base, so that means he goes up to 14k when you soul blast, and he's a 5k shield. He also bounces back to the deck at the end of the battle step, and you do not have to have a Spike Brothers Vanguard to use his ability, so you can splash him in like pretty much any deck that does a lot of soul charging, like Dark Regulars, Pale Moon, Grand Blue, etc., etc. So he's pretty good. 4 of him. He also helps opponents drop cards from their hand, and he's an option for Dudley Emperor. My grade 3 lineup is also a little different than normal Spike Brothers. I decided to tech 1 Skydiver. I'm testing him. He's working pretty good. I'm testing him for 2 reasons. The first reason is if I don't get my Dudley Emperor, then I won't have to ride a Juggernaut Max. I could just ride the Skydiver. Of course, he's still an 11k swinger. And the second reason is if I have a Juggernaut Max in my hand after soul charging for the Dudley Emperors, I could just call the Skydiver with the Dudley Emperor and another Juggernaut Max, and they would still have to guard, because if they let the Skydiver hit, then I'll put him into the soul and call the Juggernaut Max from my hand, which gives me another attack, so I'm attacking 4 times in 1 turn instead of the 3. And also, if they don't guard it, then it hits and they take a damage. So they're either forced to guard this. I can make them think I have something threatening in my hand and they guard it, or I can actually have something threatening in my hand and they still guard it. So Skydiver is working out pretty good. He's 11k, and he has the backfire ability, so if you try to put him into a hybrid deck, he will lose 2k if you don't have a Spike Brothers Vanguard or Rear Guard, just like Juggernaut Maximum. Next, I run 3 Juggernaut Maximums. He has the minus 2k ability, just like Skydiver, like I said, and you Soul Blast 1 to give him plus 5k, and he bounces back to the deck at the end of the battle step. You mainly want to get this guy with the Dudley Emperor's effect, but you could also do the play that I just said, and if you have one in hand, you can get the Skydiver and then soul charge it to get a Juggernaut Max. But mainly, you'll call this guy and try to push for over 20k with boosters. So I'm only using 3. Most people use 4. And lastly, of course, 4 Demonic Lord Dudley Emperors. He is the limit breaker for Spike Brothers. He has a power of 10k. His ability is the limit break ability is you counterblast 2 and soul charge 2 Spike Brothers from your hand to call 2 Spike Brothers from your deck to separate open rear guard circles. And then his other ability is he gets plus 3k when he's boosted by Spike Brothers, and that's all the time. It's not limit break. He always gets plus 3k when boosted. So he's pretty much a 13 base if you boost him. So yeah, and he's pretty much what the deck is based around. I guess I can show a demonstration. You have Dudley Emperor as your vanguard, and then you can have, let's say, a Wonder Boy behind him, and maybe a medical manager over here, and worst case scenario, you have a Cheerful Lynx on your regard circle as well. You soul charge, let me find something just to randomly soul charge. Okay, and then let's put this to the side. No, put one of everything to the side. Okay, there we go. Okay, so you attack for a 21 because he's boosted by Wonder Boy, so 18 plus 3 gets you 21, of course. And then you limit break, which means you counterblast the 2 damage, and then you soul charge 2 Spike Brothers from your hand. And you go search for these guys, Juggernaut Maximums, call them to rear guard circles, and then you attack for after Soul Blast, and he's 16 by himself with the boosted 5k, so he is about 21, no, 21, and then you do the same over here. You do the Soul Blast, and then they bounce back to the deck, and then next turn, let's say you draw into your Juggernaut Max, you do the same thing. You limit break, counterblast, soul charge. Instead of calling 2 Juggernaut Max, you could call a Skydiver and a Juggernaut Max, and then you would want to call the Skydiver in front of the highest booster you have, so they have to guard for more if they want to guard the Skydiver. And then you attack with the Juggernaut Max, do the Soul Blast, bounce him back. They would probably guard that. And then you attack with the Skydiver, boosted by Medical Manager. If they don't guard it, you soul charge the Skydiver and call the Juggernaut Max, so you have another attack. And that's pretty much the deck. So if you like it, feel free to comment. If you would change anything, comment, like the video, and don't forget to subscribe.